Welcome to the Vintage Vibe Love Lounge podcast with your hosts Laura and Anila, where timeless romance meets modern wisdom.
Happy December, your last chapter of 2024. Welcome back to the Love Lounge podcast, where we blend confidence, self-discovery, and a touch of glamour to help you own your vibe and live authentically. I'm Laura, and today we're diving into a topic that's the foundation of personal magnetism, embracing who you are, aka what you may call your flaws, which is the real magic of confidence.
Hey everyone, so excited for this one. And like our past few podcast episodes, we're trying in our favorite archetype characters from And Just Like That to help you uncover the magic of imperfection. Think of Carrie's messy but lovable energy, Miranda's no-nonsense vibe, and Charlotte's quest for balance. They all own their quirks, and that's what makes them iconic.
Exactly, Anila. In today's episode, we are exploring why perfection is overrated, how to reframe your flaws as strengths, and why your authentic vibe is the key to unlocking unshakable confidence. Plus, we're sharing details about our, drum roll please, Own Your Vibe course, where we help you channel these lessons to discover and embrace your own unique vibe.
Perfection is overrated. Why do we think perfection is the goal? It's exhausting, right?
Totally. Perfection is this illusion that we chase because we think it'll make us more lovable or successful or fill in the blank. But real connections come from vulnerability. When people see the human behind the facade, it allows them to trust and remove their wall so that they know they're safe. If you've been following along with our previous podcast, you know we've introduced our favorite characters. And like Lisa, sometimes saying that thing that everyone in the room is thinking, but is too afraid to say it, is actually very liberating. It frees us from the illusion of perfection.
Exactly. And honestly, what we perceive as flaws can actually be enduring. Think about Carrie Bradshaw. Her life isn't perfectly organized, and she makes a lot of mistakes. But her authenticity is what makes us root for her.
Yes, there's actually this psychological concept called the Pratfall Effect. What it shows is that people who make mistakes or who are visibly imperfect, aka being a human, they are often more likable than those who seem flawless. Let's use the example of, whether it's a politician, a public figure that has made a massive mistake. When they dance around and don't own the mistake, we all call their BS. We all do it. And we dislike them even more. But those that own their mistake and just come out and say, you know what, I screwed up. We as a society are for the most part so much more forgiving and gracious. And quite honestly, because we know that we're the same inside, we identify more with that type of authenticity than we do the ones that just tap dance around trying to make like everything's okay.
Exactly. You see it in social media more than ever. I love when I see videos of people, saying things that are so off the chart that I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe they just said that. Or they're wearing something that's so out there, or they're just quirky as ever. I mean, I am so taken thinking, way to go. Like they just own it. So the more authentic you are, the more people are drawn to you. So your quirks, well, they're not just okay. They are your secret weapon for building connection and charm.
So let's talk about the practical ways to embrace what we all call flaws, but again, are just us weaving our way through life. Anila, what's one thing that you've reframed as a strength?
Oh, for me, I guess it was my tendencies to ask questions because, like I shared in the past, being dyslexic, I had a tendency to, and I still do actually, I ask a lot of questions. And my sister one day really got upset that I asked so many questions and she made a comment about it. And so I always saw this as a flaw about myself, that why do I ask so many questions? But my dad jumped in when my sister said, why do I ask so much questions? And he proceeded to share a story with us about this king who had two helpers, and one helper got paid more money than the other helper. And the king's friend that was visiting said, why do you pay one helper more than you do of the other? And the king says, I'll show you why. And so he asks helper number one to go down because there's some noise in the village. And he says, go tell me what's going on in the village. And the first helper comes back and he says, oh, there's a wedding happening in the village. And he goes, uh-huh. And then the king proceeds to ask helper number two to go down to the village because there's some noise. And the second helper comes back and he says, oh, king, so and so's daughter is getting married to so and so's son. And this is how many people are attending the wedding. And the food that's being served is this. And the music performance is by this person. And he proceeded to go on. And then the king looks over at his friend and he says, now do you know why I pay each one differently? And that was a great story that my dad shared because what I saw as a flaw, it made me realize it was my strength. And I do that authentically. I genuinely care about people and wanting to put the pieces of the puzzle together for myself to understand a situation, a person, whatever it be. And I do that by asking so many questions. And I find in return, people always say, wow, you know, no one's ever asked me that. And it just shows my authenticity of really wanting to know about that person. And I care. And that's why I ask. I don't keep it just one question. I want to know so much as I possibly can that the person cares to share with me. And in return, it served me so well because it has allowed me to create meaningful relationships and build relationships with people because I think individuals can feel I am genuinely interested in learning more about them by the questions that I ask of them. And let's face it, who doesn't want to talk about themselves so long as the person that is asking the questions is genuinely interested? And believe me, I'm genuinely interested. It's why I ask so many questions of another person. I want to get to know who they are. And I think that's felt. And so in return, people bond with me because of it. So what ended up being a flaw as a little girl ended up becoming my superpower in the way that I can connect with people very quickly and build relationships off of it. What about you, Laura?
What a great lesson that your dad gave you in that moment. Kudos to him. I love that. It's that lesson of be interested, not interesting when you're with other people, whether you're on a date or at an event. So I love that. Well, for me, it's my tendency to overanalyze and overthink. I'm learning, as you notice, I'm saying I'm still learning. Still, that muscle still needs to be, worked out. I'm learning to channel it as a strength when needed, but I laugh at myself when it gets out of hand, as I am right now. I try to see it as it helping me to be more thoughtful, and detail-oriented.
The key is seeing these traits as part of your unique vibe. It's like owning your style. You don't have to be anyone but yourself.
100%. We all know there's nothing more attractive or alluring than someone who owns their style. It's subtle, not loud, but it is unmistakable. And that's a big part of our Own Your Vibe course. We guide you to identify your unique traits, flaws and all, and turn them into your superpower. Here's an example of how our character archetypes embrace their humanness. Carrie's imperfections, like her messy love life, make her relatable. Miranda's practicality keeps her grounded. Charlotte's devotion to tradition brings charm. And Lisa's fearless confidence shows us the beauty of unapologetic authenticity.
And on that note, it's time to discover your character archetype. In the Own Your Vibe course, we have a quiz to help you discover yours and how to use these archetypes inspired by characters like Carrie, Lisa, Miranda, and Charlotte to help you understand your personality and vibe.
That's right. Maybe you're a Carrie who's learning to embrace your quirks, a Charlotte striving for balance between perfectionism and grace. Or maybe you identify with a Lisa, owning your power and loving unapologetically. Or maybe you're Miranda. You find strength in being prepared and pragmatic.
It's about discovering what resonates with you. And when you do, that's where the magic happens. You stop comparing yourself to others and start owning your unique vibe.
Yes, no more comparing, y'all. It's like stand into your space. You have come to this earth. The chances of you being born are like 400 trillion to whatever. It is your time. And that is why we are so excited to offer this Own Your Vibe course. And it is now open for pre-launch enrollment.
Yes, if you sign up before January 5th, you'll get a special discounted price and access to exclusive bonus content and even more behind-the-scenes content for our big launch in April.
It is so exciting. This course is about unlocking your confidence, finding your authentic vibe, and stepping in to 2025 with unmatched energy. So don't wait. Sign up now and start owning your vibe today.
Head to findvintagevibe.com or click the link in the show notes to join us.
Thanks for hanging out with us today in the Love Lounge podcast. If you love this topic, then be sure to check out our blog on Vintage Vibe for more inspiration.
And don't miss our Instagram live this week, where we'll dive deeper into embracing flaws and building confidence.
Remember, the magic is in your imperfection. Until next time, keep owning your vibe.
Thank you for tuning in to the Vintage Vibe Love Lounge. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Instagram at Find Your Vintage Vibe. Remember, love knows no age. Get out there and find your vibe and keep vibing with us until next time. Connect with us at findyourvintagevibe.com.